Hi friends, I'm off to the UK, heading to Bath, Bristol, and London to explore the local queer culture and to find out from folks in the LGBTQIA+ community if they feel safe to be their authentic queer selves, and what government leaders, allies, and folks within the queer community could be doing to further protect us all. This is Another Side of Britain. Robbie around the world. London, Bath, and Bristol. 3 cities that are so uniquely different yet thrive on a global scale. Bath, known for its Roman architecture, Bridgerton moments, cobblestone streets, and baths quite literally everywhere. Bristol, a city filled with activism, Banksy, street art, and epic queer nightlife. London, a city that instantly makes you feel on top of the world with vastly creative districts, queer folks that are changing the game, the West End, high tea, and a super solid public transportation. Now let's hit the streets and see if folks feel safe to be their authentic queer selves in these 3 cities. Do you feel safe to be your authentic self here in Bath?
Yeah. Bath is a very tolerant town.
I think for me personally, seeing other people that look like me and kind of express their gender and sexuality in the same kind of broad and diverse ways, like, makes me feel safe.
There are still moments when I'm second guess myself where I want to hold my partner's hand, and we shouldn't live in a society like that, and that's why Pride is still important, so that we can tackle those issues and make sure that everyone can just be themselves whenever they want to.
Legally, things could improve, like I'm still waiting for my hormones.
For someone like me who's transgender, I feel like it can be hard for me to travel to places, but being here, it's comforting knowing that people are trying their best to create a beautiful community where everyone is welcome.
Here I do. Bristol's amazing. You can find your place, your people everywhere.
Tonight we've got a Shine a Light parade. So Bristol is a city of activists, and tonight, as part of a wider campaign to kind of highlight safety for women in the city, we've got a Shine a Light parade.
97% of women we surveyed have experienced sexual harassment. And when we interviewed Bristol's men, almost half of them couldn't articulate what sexual harassment is. That's not okay. It's not okay is the tagline used in a big poster campaign that you'll be seeing in the city in our nighttime venues, and they're huge as well. They're designed to illustrate what sexual harassment is and behaviours that, if unwanted, are not okay. We've launched a Women's Safety Charter, which will drive a change in attitudes. We're training 1,000 staff in nighttime venues to become active bystanders, empowering them to take action and giving confidence to victims that they will receive support.
Yes, Bristol, now that is actionable change. Now it's time for me to dive in and explore these 3 cities. I am at the Trans Crosswalk in Bloomsbury, UK, right here in London. This is the second Trans Crosswalk I've seen in the world. After seeing how fabulous these cities are firsthand, let's learn how we can be even more inclusive to provide safety for the queer community. What advice do you have to world leaders, to politicians, to people within the queer community, and to our allies to really bring safety into the queer community?
Include us. Give us positions
in senior places, so in management position, but also invest in long-term strategies.
I think it's having marginalised voices in positions of power. So I run this night because I am an AFAB performer and I felt that there was no representation for drag queens like me. So I started doing it. I had no experience in business, I had no experience running my own night, but at the end of the day, sometimes if you don't see it, you have to be it. It's not just about employing people who hit marginalisation targets, it's about actually having those people in positions of power, because then it trickles down from the top rather than the ground up.
Be advocates for other people within the community, and to ensure that we're all looking out for each other to make sure that this is an equal world for everyone.
Keep finding different organisations that aren't just the big names that you're already seeing. It can't be a 2-week project that you fund and you're like, oh, well, we've done great. No, you can't clap for yourself when it's just 2 weeks. It's an ongoing thing. We're not queer for just 2 weeks. This is our life. This is who we are.
Stop shutting down queer spaces. Stop shutting down sexual spaces for queer people to consensually explore themselves and their relationships, because at the moment all of them are being taken away, and when queer people lose their spaces and when queer people lose their legislation, then it's when more crime begins to happen.
There are 71 territories around the world that still criminalise consensual sex between two men, and that is, a terrible, terrible thing. And so anything we can do to kind of move legislation forwards, to move countries towards improving LGBT rights in their country, that's the ultimate aim.
Growing up, we in shows, in TV shows, the gay character was always a bit tragic and would be the one that died of AIDS, or it was never put in a positive light.
Sure.
And I think over the last 10-20 years, we've seen gay characters, LGBT characters, being normalised more and more. I went with some friends in Camden last week, and straight friends went to a straight pub, and they had a rainbow in the entrance saying, we welcome everybody in a rainbow. They didn't say we're gay friendly, they didn't need to say that, they just said we are welcoming to everyone.
That is actionable change. That is something that all businesses can do.
Yeah, and it's a subtle thing. My straight friends didn't really notice it because, well, you just don't notice stuff like that.
Right.
But because for us, it's a very visible sign that really goes deep to us, to our core. When you see a rainbow, we're like, oh, it sends a signal to us. And it's such a subtle thing that a business can do.
London, Bristol, and Bath, you have been breathtakingly beautiful. The art, the architecture, the activism has been super inspiring. The core of each city has been vastly different, but the queerness exists everywhere. Now, my mission has been to get in with the locals and discover how folks feel seen and safe to be their authentic queer selves. As we've learned, we have a lot of work to do, and that includes allies, government officials, business owners, and people within the queer community. To all the fabulous locals that I've met that took time to chat with me, thank you, thank you, thank you. One voice is enough to make an impact. Thank you, Visit Britain, for bringing me all around the UK to see another side of Great Britain. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a comment below, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next adventure.
Robbie around the world.
Robbie around the world in the UK, baby!
A pleasant day for ice cream. So I made a rookie mistake. I always like to exchange my money before I go to a destination. So I go to my favorite place on 27th and 7th Avenue in New York City to get euros. I got just all these euros, and I'm in London. They take pounds.